Long story short, I sold my CS skins and bought my friends Terraria. They bombed my house, touched my waifu.
Hello, beautiful.
Logged out and never logged in again. When I asked them why can't we play this game together, they said because it has one less dimension than Minecraft. Listen doggy, the one dimension this game is missing must be your dad then. Other than you, nobody else needs him. A lot of Gen Alpha, Beta, Goo Goo Gaga grew up with the games like Fortnite, Valorant, and your mother.
I can now tell my friends, I have 1 hour in your mother.
If they don't get that instant dopamine, they don't give that game a chance. To that audience, quality single player games are a far cry. And Terraria is not only a single player co-op game, it's also 2D. So today I'll try to convince that brain rotted audience why they should give Terraria a chance. Terraria on surface is a 2D Minecraft. No, it's not. I hate whenever someone says,
"Oh, it's just a 2D Minecraft."
Shut your 3D ass up before I put my D in your 3D ass. First of all, Terraria was released before Minecraft. So Minecraft is a 3D Terraria knockoff. They have some similarities, especially in the beginning, but other than that, they are nothing alike. Like they are not even in the same dimension, literally. Terraria is a combat-focused game with freedom of sandbox. Minecraft, well, what is even Minecraft? What's Minecraft without its community? Without mods? Without Jenny mod? It's a sandbox with some combat, I suppose. They release a tree or a mob every year. Well, this year they got blessed and got copper tools, and they presented it so professionally as if it's gonna change the whole game. This video probably had a higher budget than the actual update. Seriously, copper tools in big 2025. A guy probably from Afghanistan while his house is getting bombed modded them 5 years ago. Meanwhile, 5 years ago, Terraria devs released a statement saying this will be the final update and they are moving to the next project. Since then, they have released so much content, Minecraft could never. They have already announced their next update, 1.4.5, more like 1 plus 4 equals 5, years in making. They have been cooking this one for a while now. It's a crossover with 2 other masterpieces, Dead Cells and Palworld, and this is what they are adding. Probably more. Just a fraction of this will make any Minecraft player wet. Anyway, I sympathize. Hope you get at least a black moss block or ender poo for the end update, if that ever happens. All in all, Terraria is not 2D Minecraft. It's a world of NPCs, beautiful pixelated flowers, and giant fucking eyeballs. Progression is what makes you keep playing any game. Either you are improving your character or you are improving your skills. Terraria is a game where you improve both your skills and your character. You spawn in as a homeless caveman. Caveless homeman? With a few tools in your inventory. Nearby you will find this guy. This is Jake. He's homosexual and a furry lover. I'm not joking, you can check the wiki. To finish the game, you don't even need a single external guide if you are smart enough to understand what he is saying. Talk to him, keep pressing this help button, and he will tell you what to do. I hated him for how vague he is, but then I realized a good guide is the one which is spoiler free. But if you are struggling, don't hesitate to watch a guide. Another important thing is you can drag any material from your inventory and you'll be able to see all kind of things you can make from it. Jake tells you to chop down some trees and make a workbench. Then you can make a shack and find a cave and start mining. Okay, it does sound like Minecraft. Till here, you'll see. You will struggle a lot, die a lot, regardless of the difficulty you selected.
Are you serious right now, bro?
You will come across creatures you have never seen before. Traps. Some obvious traps, some not so obvious traps, and more traps. But all of it will be worth it because it rewards you with treasure chests, ores, gems,
Diamond! Ah!
heart crystals, and it goes deep. The deeper you go, the better it gets. That's what my uncle used to say while touching me. I wish I could go back in time and unplay this game so that I can experience my first time once again. That's also what my uncle used to say. Even after 400 plus hours across all the platforms, I still come across things I have never seen before.
Bruh.
Every biome has a lot of unique things and enemies to offer, both on the surface and underground. Insects, humanoid, robots, aliens, goofiest of weapons. Some are reliable, some not so much, but everything has a use. Nothing is useless. Keep exploring, gearing up, and building. Eventually, NPCs will start to move in. They will offer you deals according to their happiness. They have their own preferences, places they want to live in, love interests, friendships. Basically, they have more social life than you'll ever have. This is the only game in the world where a robot wants to fuck a pirate while it snows outside. I wish I was joking. With the progress you have made, dealing with normal enemies is way easier now. But it's always child's play until you start playing with the child.
Epic green screen moment.
When the game thinks you are ready, an evil eye begins to watch you. With every passing day, its presence gets stronger. It will be a quiet night when the feeling of being watched becomes real. The shack you built isn't safe anymore. NPCs will try to help you, but it's of no use. That's why they are NPCs. It's likely you will get absolutely obliterated, you noob, but that's supposed to happen during your first playthrough. The guide will tell you how to face him again, if you are lucky anyways. This time, you will be ready. And it will be a walk in the park. This is what the progression looks like in Terraria. You explore, gather resources, weapons, armor, build an arena, brew potions, and face the boss, and repeat. It's not completely linear, but it's not completely open-ended. You can choose what to do and when, but certain dungeons, items, and events are locked behind some bosses. In every game, there is a point where you become so powerful that you start losing interest in the game. Terraria is the only game I have played where when you think you are about to beat the game, that's when the game throws you back where you started. After beating a certain boss, the player enters hard mode. You won't lose any progress, but everything around you will change. New bosses, ores, weapons, armor, biomes. The places you have already been before can be explored again. This is why I love this game. Like the lollies in anime, it just never gets old. There are two different categories of difficulties in Terraria. First, you have the character difficulty. Second, the world difficulty. When you first create your character, you get these options to choose from. Journey is Goo Goo Gaga mode. There are no consequences of dying and you get starter weapons. Additionally, you can duplicate all the items and can change difficulty whenever you want. If you grew up with Skibidi Toilet, you might enjoy this. Classic character drops coins upon death, Midcore character drops all items upon death, and Hardcore character drops character data from your hard drive upon death, meaning the character dies permanently. And once it dies, you can spectate the world but can't interact. Unspoken rule of Terraria, classic character difficulty is the standard and preferred by the community. And while playing on this difficulty, you have to act like a furry in front of the zoologist NPC. That's the unspoken rule, and I don't make the rules. It's known as Terraria Furry Rule 34. It's recommended you Google it. You can consider midcore difficulty after beating the game at least once, and hardcore is just for YouTubers. Either you are getting ad revenue or you are getting assaulted, nothing in between. If you are a masochist, be my guest. Moving on to the world difficulty. It determines how much health and damage enemies and bosses have. Additionally, bosses have different movesets and enemy AI changes depending on the difficulty. In most games, selecting a harder difficulty just increases enemy health bar and damage numbers, but in this game you are actually rewarded for playing on harder difficulties. There are difficulty exclusive items in the game. For example, the pirate ship mount can only be obtained in master mode. Shield of Cthulhu, one of the best early game accessory, can only be obtained in expert mode or above. Here again you have 4 options. Journey is again baby mode, classic is again recommended for beginners, expert and master mode if you have already finished the game at least once. Since these difficulties have exclusive items, they are actually worth playing. But there is also legendary difficulty mode which you can't see, and for a good reason. Terraria devs are nice. They don't want you to suffer. There are some seeds which further increases world difficulty, Get Fixed Boy and For the Worthy. I think the names itself are enough to describe how painful these might be. There are entire wiki pages dedicated to these seeds. You can read them if you are interested. If you want to experience what is it like to be gay in Iran, go ahead. If you can take these seeds, you can certainly take mine. There is one additional difficulty spike which is a canon event, meaning it's the part of the progression, hard mode. I have already talked about it in the previous section. Considering this, classic character difficulty with classic world difficulty is recommended to anyone new to the game. But the hardest thing in Terraria is not legendary mode or the bosses, it's getting into the game itself. Did I ever tell you that Terraria has one of the simplest UI designs? I haven't, because it's not.
Bruh.
It is so messy. The sheer amount of items you will get in this game, it's like the worst nightmare of anyone with ADHD. I still have trouble finding the right things at the right time. I remember I had to watch tutorial on how to use a workbench, how to make a bed, how to summon the first boss. During my first playthrough, I had 15 tabs of wiki, 5 YouTube tutorials, and 20 tabs of Chun-Li open in the background. I know I said that you don't need an external guide, which is true, but I never told you that you need the patience of a Chinese monk in order to progress the game with only the information given by this guy. The convenience of just looking shit up is far beyond whatever this guy gives you. Maybe his seed, but you will get used to it eventually. There are some really good features that help you manage inventory and chests. I recommend taking your time to go through all the UI and controls. It will help you in the long run. There are 33 bosses in Terraria. Not every boss needs to be beaten, especially if they pay you, but every boss is worth fighting, except you, King Slime. Get your slimy shit out of my face. The rewards you get for fighting him are just below average, like this gun for example, which can be used to shoot slime at people's faces and it does 0 damage. Thanks King Slime, but all of us already have a gun like that. In a lot of games, bosses are just waiting to be fought in some fancy arena, but in Terraria, some bosses just spawn randomly. I think it happens when the game thinks you are taking too long to progress. First time I've ever seen where the bosses are impatient, but you can also summon them and fight them at your terms. All the bosses in Terraria are unique, has different attacks. Most of them have a second phase, different strengths, weaknesses, and all of them reward you with something unique. Even King Slime. These rewards are not viable, but they sure are unique. And most of them have multiple items with different drop rates, so you always want to fight them again and again. Getting a drop which you have never seen before is one of the best feelings ever. But in harder difficulties, you want to avoid fighting them unless you are absolutely sure that you can beat them. They are absolutely brutal. Do you know how terrifying it feels to see this cast icon while you are watching movies like Hikari wo Motomete? Yeah, it's the same feeling. It's really hard and you are always on the edge. You can max out all of your gear, but it won't save you from dying if you don't know what you are doing. It all boils down to your skill. You have to actually learn their attack patterns, timing the dodge at the right moment, prepare, make an arena, brew potions, and then keep losing until you win. Even the normal enemies feels like mini bosses in master mode. In classic mode, you can get away with a lot of bullshit, but master mode is unforgiving. After finishing the game couple of times in classic mode, I got overconfident and went straight to master mode, and let's say I wasn't ready. During my playthrough, I died in total of 483 times. In comparison, during this playthrough, in classic mode, while mostly using spears, I only died 37 times, so expect a lot of deaths. Let's talk about boss design. All of the bosses in Terraria look uncanny. There is a good lore behind why they look the way they look, but the game won't explain it. The lore is mostly outside the game. I remember getting chills when I fought them. All the sound effects, their attacks, they are terrifying. I mean, most of them. A lot of bosses have their own soundtracks. Some of them are absolutely bangers. Other than that, there is not much to talk about bosses. However, there are mini bosses. The game counts them as normal enemies, but some of them are more powerful than the first few bosses you fight. Most of these mini bosses spawn during hard mode. Biomimics, Dread Nautilus, Hemogoblin Shark, Nailhead, Mothron, Ice Golem, and many more. These enemies have way too much health and damage to be considered as normal enemies, in my opinion at least. For example, Nailhead, a zombie-sized enemy, has 12,000 HP in Master Mode. Most of them spawn during events, so they are rare. The good thing is all of them drop really good items, sometimes too good. Wait, why the f does this look like a sex toy collection? And finally, normal enemies. There are more than 300 normal enemies, and somehow most of them have different attacks. Some of my personal favorite being Clown, which sounds way too scary for a pixel art game. I mean, not really as scary as seeing a single baby in 2 dumpsters, but like you're minding your own business, just killing enemies, enjoying the game at 3 AM, and then you hear this. The tortoise. Terraria devs be like, let's add a tortoise who can spin while jumping so high up in the air, it's not even visible on your screen, and then it drops straight onto player's head, doing equivalent damage to a thermonuclear hydrogen bomb. I think this f***er alone does more damage than any boss in the game, other than Dungeon Guardian, which you aren't really supposed to fight. I might be wrong though. And lastly, Chimera. There is nothing special about these enemies. In fact, this might be the most boring enemy in the game. The only reason I like them is because they look like how gay people describe pussy. Unlike Minecraft, Terraria's world isn't infinite. There are invisible walls on the each side of the map. Even if they make it infinite, it won't change the gameplay much. Terraria is already a content-packed game, so infinite world only means more building space, nothing more. While creating a world, you are given 3 options: small, medium, or large. In my experience, size doesn't matter. All the Asians want you to believe that, and I am with them. You still get all the biomes in a smaller world that you would get in a larger world, so it's personal preference. I would say, if you want to stay on a single world for a long time, go for a larger world. While creating a world, you are also given an evil biome to choose from: Corruption and Crimson. Corruption follows a rotten theme, and Crimson follows a gory theme. Both biomes are amazing but annoying at the same time. These biomes are not just biomes, they are alive. They both spread themselves like sisters in anime. The closer you get to finishing, the wider they spread. Their goal is to take over the entire world. When they spread through desert biome, they create evil desert biomes, spawning enemies that normally don't spawn. But during hard mode, another biome spawns: the Hollow. It's completely opposite of these 2 biomes. However, this biome also spreads. But unlike evil biomes, Hollow can't spread through mud, which makes jungle biome safe from Hollow. This biome follows a gay femboy, furry, lesbomancy, Hello Kitty kinda theme. Enemies are straight from fairy tales, and so are the bosses. Ironic to the theme, this biome has the hardest boss in the game, which also makes you the hardest in the game: Empress of Light. You are supposed to fight this boss during the night, but if you fight it during the day, it's the most difficult boss to beat in the game. I find this biome to be rewarding, especially early on. You can get the essentials: wings, a mount, weapons. It's really good. Forest biome is the default biome. It's usually the spawn point, but in some rare seeds, you can spawn in other biomes too. Nothing special about this biome. It's really peaceful, and I love the ambient sounds. Just listen to this.
Hello, beautiful.
Desert has a good soundtrack. If you have entomophobia, fear of bugs, don't go underground desert. If you have cactusophobia, yeah, that's a term. Unlucky for you, Desert provides the easiest early game tools. Cactus tools, cactus armor, cactus chair, cactus toilet. I want to know who's genius behind this. This man knows infinity and beyond. But my favorite part of Desert is when a black guy sells you illegal gun parts in the middle of the night. Absolute cinema. Hell exists in Terraria. And it's not this, it's this. Whenever a demon dies in hell, it goes to Terraria's jungle. Annoying bats, bees, wasps, slimes, that fucking tortoise, and everything gives you poison, traps everywhere, can't regenerate because spikes everywhere. It does 1 damage, but it's enough to stop you from regenerating. Enemy spawn rate is higher than any other biome. You can't even avoid this biome because it plays a major role in the progression and the fact that you need to build an arena underground. Getting anything done in this biome is like trying not to get assaulted in Roblox. Lucky for me, I don't play Roblox. I just go to the nearby park. But despite everything else, this biome has the highest risk to reward ratio, both in hard mode and pre-hard mode. Early game you can get full set of grass armor, which is really good and can carry you all the way to the hard mode. It's a love and hate relationship. Everybody says this biome is annoying but then spend most of the time here. I have already told you that when you are minding your own business, a boss could spawn, but bosses aren't the only thing that randomly spawn. Sometimes a specific type of race wants to screw you in particular. Sometimes I want to screw a specific type of race. Goblin army, pirate invasion, alien invasion, blood moons, solar eclipses, frost moons, whatever this is, I didn't even know this existed. While some of the events occur randomly after you meet a certain criteria, most of them can be summoned. Some of them last an entire night or day. Some of them come in waves. Some can be defeated after beating a certain number of enemies. Certain types of enemies spawn during these events. I like how many times I have to say certain because of my vocabulary having 3 words. Pirate themed enemies in Pirate Invasion, Christmas themed enemies in Frost Moon. You get the idea. These enemies normally don't spawn or are very rare to spawn without triggering these events. Some events also have bosses. Pre-hard mode events are not as rewarding, so I usually avoid them by going underground, but not every event can be avoided. Everything changes in hard mode. Some of the best weapons and accessories in the game are locked behind these events. For example, Death Sickle, a very popular melee weapon, can be obtained by killing Reapers during Solar Eclipse event. It has like 2% drop rate, so you have to kill hundreds of enemies, but they are fairly common during this event. Eventually you will get it. As for the sickle itself, let's talk about it in weapons section. If I have to give you one reason to play this game, it would be weapons. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this game has more than 500 weapons and they are still adding more, and most of them are somehow viable. So every time you do a playthrough, you could use a different set of weapons like I did. This is the first time I did a spears only playthrough. Now I did pick up some weapons during the playthrough and used them here and there, but against bosses, I only used spears. I used to think spears are the most mid-ass category in the game, but after using them, I think they are even worse. They are just okay at best. I had a lot of fun using them though. It was a challenge in itself because most of them are true melee, meaning they lack projectile, and the ones that have a projectile also come with flaws, and every single one of them is outshined by other melee weapons. Pre-hard mode, the first spear you can get your hands on is spear, which is not craftable, so you have to find it in chests. Has a poke attack, which is the worst attack type for flying enemies. It's really easy to miss. Does have a strong knockback though. This shit gets outshined by a cactus sword, which is not only craftable, but you can craft it the first minute of the game. Has a sweep attack, which is hard to miss. Same speed as the spear, has average knockback. This is the problem with having so many weapons. At every point of the game, there is one weapon that outshines the rest of its class. But then not everything has to be best. Like a cast of a show, some will blow your mind and some are there to just blow. Going back to my spear, run. Trident is the direct upgrade to spear. Same thing as spear but with more damage, but I never found it. Next we have Storm Spear, which I didn't know even existed. This is one of the cooler ones because it's the first spear with a projectile. The range is kinda dog shit, but compared to other options, it's a godsend. Unfortunately, I never found this either, so I went straight to the rotted f***. If not for the spear, I would have dropped this challenge. It can be found by smashing Crimson Hearts. You have 20% chance of getting this spear and 80% chance of getting something else. If you have enough bombs, you can get this pretty early on. It has a slight aura effect at the tip, like mine, which further increases its range. I used this spear to defeat the first few bosses, and I have to say, it went way better than I thought. You don't get the range of yo-yos or the enchanted sword, but the damage output is nuts. Swordfish is a fucking joke. I wish I could fry this fish and eat it, so I skipped it. The only option remained before hard mode is the Dark Lands. This is fairly hard to get. You need to find the shadow key and then head to the hell, and then you have to get lucky and find it in the obsidian chests. It's easily my favorite spear in the game. Increased range, has aura effect at the tip. Sometimes it hits the same enemy twice, doubling its damage, and also has a shadow flame effect which does 70 damage every 4 to 5 seconds, but you can make it even better. Magma Stone is an accessory which adds fire damage to your melee weapons. So now not only you have shadow flame, you have normal flame as well. Pretty insane. Entering the hard mode with the spear, I was expecting an upgrade but met with a mountain of disappointment. All the spears crafted from hard mode ores are the same as normal spear, just bigger numbers. They are not him. So I defeated the destroyer with the Dark Lands and got access to Gungnir. I hope that's how you pronounce it. It's a direct reference to Spear of Odin, but it's barely an upgrade to Darklands. At this point, I'll take it. Defeated other mechanical bosses with this. The twins were literally mocking me. I thought it was impossible. I felt like a dog on a leash, barking at them. But you do get some chances to get closer. Somehow the second phase was easier. Now finally, an actual upgrade. Chlorophyte Partisan, I don't know. I always overlook this spear. I mean all of the spears in general. You won't believe this. It has higher damage output than one of the most popular melee weapons at this stage of the game, the Death Sickle. Nowhere near as cool, but it's an alternative. With the downside being poke attack, which is easy to miss, which it compensates with slightly higher damage output. This was basically my final option until the Daybreak, which you get access to just before fighting the final boss. I tried other spears, but they were really disappointing. North Pole being the most disappointing. This spear is really hard to obtain. You have to defeat Ice Queen, which only has about 5% drop rate. It's not good at all. It fills your screen with projectiles, which something spear class was missing, and it looks really cool, but it's not meant for fighting bosses. It can do well against Destroyer, but it's a late game weapon. I fought the little guy with this one, and it was the most painful experience ever. This guy clones himself, and if you hit a clone, a dragon wants to be inside you for some reason, and I was hitting the clone every single time without fail. Its damage is too spread out between these projectiles. It's slow, really easy to miss, so I went back to the Chlorophyte Spear. Finally, the Daybreak. It's throwable, infinite uses, amazing range, explodes after sticking to enemies, outmatched DPS. It's simply the best others in the game. What the f do you mean others? What kind of weapon class is others? It's a spear, it's throwable like every other spear should be. Are you telling me Chlorophyte Spear is the best spear in the game? Zenith is also others weapon class. A sword made from 15 million swords is not a sword. Get out of here.
Get out of here, man!
So this was a niche subclass playthrough, but you are not limited to classes. You can change your build whenever you want. There are mainly 4 classes, ranged being the most consistent. Mage goes from mid to OP. Summoner aka Aura Farming class. And finally, melee, which goes from being weakest in the beginning to strongest at the end. Every class has its own set of armors with set bonuses, which is one of my favorite things in video games. Accessories to boost mobility and damage. Combining all these, you can make so many builds. A Japanese build, an American build, and my personal favorite, a back in my days build. Speaking of builds, Terraria and Minecraft players share one common thing: box fetish, and I am one of them. Throughout my lifetime, I have seen so many talentless, uncreative folks like myself who only know how to build a box. Boxes are perfect. They are the most efficient to build, more accessible, they provide the most amount of space, and you don't have to organize things because it already looks ugly as fuck. To you, to us, it's the most beautiful thing ever. You see these sharp edges? I want to sit on it, want to grind my magic lamp on it. Look, all I'm saying is I don't build because I play alone. Nobody's gonna see my boxes. I have built some houses in the past when I played with friends, but then they never showed up. But for people who want to build, this game gives them everything they might need. Look at this shit. Humans made this. This is the map I downloaded from CurseForge. It's made by XX_lolly. Lolly? Looking at this shit does not inspire me to build. It rather crushes my dreams. Reminds me of that one meme, being a 13 years old is so hard. I have to compete with President of United States for the girls my age. In this case, I am that 13 years old and this motherfucker is the President of United States. You can literally make pixel art in this game. Some people make pixel art and some make art that needs to be pixelated. Terraria also has its own version of Redstone. Some dude built a working computer inside the game using it. Why are people so talented? What the f? I feel like a dislike button in YouTube comments. Meaningless. It's done. It's over. See you in 5 months. No, wait. I want to know what you would like to see on this channel because I have no clue. My every video ends up becoming a long project. I want to make short videos. Not short form content, but videos that are 10 to 12 minutes long. I was thinking about this and I thought, why should I use my brain when I can use yours? So suggest me some ideas. Thanks in advance. Okay, goodbye.